conventional set theory. 5, 8 doesn't belong to the set of tall people. That is the issue with our conventional set theory. You might have studied set theory in many places. For example, suppose we have something like a set theory. Set A is equal to 1, 2, minus 3, 1.5. Another set, say B, is equal to, is it visible? The new screen is visible? Can anybody help me?
No, it's not visible, sir.
Okay, 1 minute. I will make it. Is it okay?
It's not coming well.
Okay, let us see, maybe net connectivity issues.
Yeah, now it's fine.
Okay, thank you, sir.
I think it's okay.
Okay, fine, thank you. Now, another set, say 5, minus 6, 8, or something like that. This is our conventional set theory. You can see that the member, say called 1, has a membership of 100% membership in set A. But the membership of this 1 is 0% in B, because it is not part of B, set B. Similarly, if you consider 8, it has 100% membership in B, but its membership in A is 0%. So this is our conventional set theory. Here, the membership can have only 2 values. Either 1 may represent 100%, 0 may represent 0%. It is not at all a member of the group. There is nothing in between. So that is the conventional set theory that we are talking about, which we have some ideas. But this is a very, crude kind of a set decision. But fuzzy is different from there. It's not like that. It is some more sophisticated or some more, vague in a sense. Here, thank you. Here, the set boundaries are not crisp like this. Rather, it may attain something like an S shape like this, so that your 5, 10 can belongs to anything above 6 2 is clearly tall. That is the membership, maximum membership value is 1. So here the membership value can range anything from 0 to 1. That is one thing interesting with fuzzy set. But it is not possible with the crisp set. Either you can be a member or you are out of it. You cannot be partially part of that. But in fuzzy set theory, you can have a membership from 0 to say 1. For example, 0.2, the membership value say 0.9. Anything above that clearly is tall, and all of them will be, so for example, 7, 8, if something is there, their membership value is 1. So 5.10 have a membership value say 0.5. So your 5.8 may have 0.48 or 0.45 or something like that. That means there is a little bit of possibility of flexibility here in the decision making. Here it is not possible. In the conventional crisp set, it is not possible. That is one thing. Now, the S shape can even change from your experience or requirement. For example, tall in Asia may be something like this, but tall in the US may be different because of the height and maybe body structure may differ for different geographical areas. Tall in NBA, say National Basketball Association or something like that, their consideration may be different. So depending on your requirement, where you are working, which is your area, or with your experience, we can decide the slope of this membership function. This is actually called membership function. And this membership function, therefore, could very flexibly accommodate people in the boundary. Sometimes just because of the point 5, 10, 5, 8 issue, one may not be get rejected. to become a member or something like that. We will look into that later. But in a conventional sense like this, you can see that if you are below this prescribed length, you are out. There is no further question in the conventional set theory. So this is how we look into a fuzzy set theory. I will skip this slide and come to this. Anyway, the current explanation was on a parameter called a set called people, tall people. A set of tall people was our topic. In that case, that very entity called tall is not a discrete number like your digital number, but it can be anything like 5, 10, 6, 1, 5, 9, 5, 20, like that. So it's a continuous quantity, what I'm trying to say. But fuzzy set is not limited to that. For example, this is another way of thinking about a fuzzy set. Fuzzy set C is equal to desirable city to live in based on some parameters, the pollution, availability of water, availability of health facility. Nowadays, that is very important because of COVID. So somebody has found out that Kottayam is a good city to live in. 0.9 is the membership value. Cochin 0.8, Trivandrum 0.6. That is what is presented here. So depending on the membership value, this will be like this. Now another fuzzy set, sensible number of children. That's a very interesting kind of a fuzzy set. How many children a couple should have? So this is a discrete universe of discourse. The universe of discourse means the entire parameter that we are considering. For example, height is a universe of discourse. Now it is sensible number of children. That is a universe of discourse. If you opt, some couples think that they will, live together or something like that, not children. That is one way of doing it. So 0 children, and the desirability of that is 0.1. So our conventional system won't allow that. We don't like that much of a modern kind of thing. If the number of children is 1, see 0.3 is the desirable value. Number of children, E means 0.7. 4, 5, 6, etc. You can see that the desirability, even though some people, religious leaders may encourage you that the children are the blessings of God, you can have any number, that may not be possible at many times. Therefore, if somebody is opting for 5, 6, etc., then the membership value is 0.1 only. We may not prefer that. So government says that we are 1, we do 1 only. Okay, but they say that you can have any numbers. So we have to take a proper decision on what it is. Anyway, this is a discrete universe of discourse. That is the difference between our height issue, because you cannot have 1.2 children anyway. So this is discrete only. Either you can have no child or 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So music is coming up because we are talking about children, I think. Okay. So this is a discrete universe. The value can be only discrete, 0, 1, 3, 5, etc. But if it is height or desirable city, it can be discrete and non-ordered, and this is continuous. Height, etc. is continuous. So these are different ways in which we define a fuzzy set. Another way of fuzzy set of B is equal to people of age about 50 years or 50 years old. Usually we would agree that we are old, right? What about 50 years of age and around 50 years? So suppose you have a candidate with age 49 and 51. They both have same membership value around 50. So that is why. So this is a fuzzy set, typical fuzzy set, which is called people of age above 50 years. And this will help you. This is one way of defining it mathematically so that this shape will be arrived at. Anyway, this is how we write a fuzzy set. See, B is equal to X, comma, mu means membership value. Suppose X is equal to 50. X is the variable. X is equal to 50. 50 means we may write 50. Membership value is 1. You can say this is 1 in the set of X. Or if it is 49 or say 53 or something like that, you find out what is the value. Then if it is X is 53, write the membership value. This is one way of writing the fuzzy set. So in the conventional set theory, you need not talk separately about the membership value because it can have only two values, either 0 or 1, can be a member or not a member. But when it comes to fuzzy set theories, along with every member, we present their membership value also, because the membership value can be anything from 0 to say 1. That is it. So some typical examples: tall person, dangerous maneuver, action sequences in a company environment, whether you can go there and do it or not. Blonde individuals, hair color, black, white. This may vary for people to people. Loud noise. What is loud for me may not be loud for you. Large investment, money. So when you think about a startup, students are worried about getting 1 lakh rupees. But when somebody else already there in the market is thinking about money, they may be thinking in terms of crores. So large may be different for different people. High speed may be different for different people. So some of your friends may drive your bike minimum at 80, but you may not be that expert. Your high speed may be 60. That again depends. Close objects, large numbers, desirable actions. All these are examples for fuzzy set. And there is no clear-cut boundaries for all of this. That depends on context, depends on the people who handle it, etc., etc. Anyway, these are some of the, don't look into the equations if it is annoying you, just look into this graph. That is sufficient, more than sufficient. Anyway, suppose we have a fuzzy set of this shape, something like this. The entire this stretch where this fuzzy set is drawn is called support of the fuzzy set. And you know, some of the elements, say this is a temperature from say T1 to T2 are considered desirable temperature. All their membership value is 1. And the set of values where the membership value is 0.5 and above is called bandwidth. All these members, say from here to here, have membership value either 0.5 or above that. That is called the bandwidth of the fuzzy set. This is core of the fuzzy set. Core means that those members will have a membership value of 1. Then if you fix some value like alpha, say 0.75, and consider members only with the membership values, say alpha and above, then it is called alpha cut. Alpha and above, alpha cut. If you consider only above alpha, then it is strong alpha cut. If you consider anything equal to or above alpha, this is simply called alpha cut. If you consider only membership values greater than alpha, then it is called strong alpha cut. These are some of the definitions or terms associated with the fuzzy set. And with this, we come to another concept of called fuzzy partition. Suppose we are dealing with age. You want to select people for a particular application or particular job or something like that. Then these are the examples of fuzzy set formation. Our consideration is age. So you may consider anything from say 0 to some 70, 80 or 90. We may not hire people above that age for any job, right? Therefore, this is first fuzzy set is called young. See how the young is going. Up to 20, clearly it is young. Membership value is 1. But when it goes above 20, you can see that the membership value in the club of young is coming down. And if you are above 40, you are not at all a younger member. Its membership value is 0. Similarly, middle-aged. 20 plus is middle-aged, and say something like 30 can be a member of both middle-aged or young. Some 30 plus is very dangerous. Please be very careful, right? 30 plus, people may sometimes claim that, no, I am very young. So you may have a membership value there, but some people will call you only middle-aged. They won't agree that you are young. So your membership value in middle-aged may also be somewhat around 0.5. But if it is above 40, nobody is going to call you young. It is middle-aged. And if you are above, say, 55 or something, then your middle-aged, membership will also be coming down. And if you look into the old age people, anything above 70 is clearly old. because membership value is 1. It cannot be called middle-aged, we cannot be called young also, even though people don't agree with that. So this is how we form fuzzy sets for a universe of disclose. Here the universe of disclose is the age. This can be a continuous quantity because you can have an age of 10.5 also problem, 10 years, 6 months or something like that. Therefore, to problem solving or decision making, etc., when it comes to picture, we may be forming fuzzy set with the universe of disclose like this. And some suggestions are, shape of these fuzzy sets can be bell, trapezoids, triangular, S shape, or even any shape suited to experience of the situation. 3 to 7 overlapping membership functions. I have shown 3 here: young, middle-aged, old. Finish with the stipulated type, no problem. Okay. Even let me skip this. Let me come to this. So this is how we usually define a fuzzy set, and that is called fuzzy partition. The name is fuzzy partition, means we will be having a universe of disclose. For example, this is a universe of disclose, which is age from say 0 to say 70, 80, 90 or something like that. Anywhere below 100 is more than sufficient. In that universe of disclose itself, what we are doing is we are trying to form different fuzzy sets. For example, a fuzzy set of young people, middle-aged people, and old people. That is what we are trying to do. Please see that. So young means if you are 10 or even 19, etc.
ഇത് പറഞ്ഞതാണ് ഇതിന്റെ അവസാനം വരെ പറഞ്ഞതാ ഓൾഡ് ഏജ് 40 above ഓൾഡ് ഏജ് വരെ പറഞ്ഞതാ.
Okay, then I think we will comfortably move to the next one. Okay, we may not waste time because this is limited edition. Now, okay, anyway, I think you idea on what is the difference between a conventional set and a fuzzy set. Fuzzy sets can have membership values from say 0 to 1, but our conventional set can have only values either 0 or 1. So here I would like to see any questions are there, 2-3 questions. If some doubts are there, that can be discussed. Just 2-3 minutes. Anybody would like to ask something?
Yeah, I have a doubt. Yeah, I have a doubt.
Please.
How will you segregate, or how will you convert the real-time scenario to the scale of 0? Like the age, it's okay. The x-axis is okay. The y-axis, how will you get those values? Map the values.
I will tell you now. So the x-axis is okay. We, for example, if the same parameter age is taken, you can have ages from say 0 to 100. I think everybody to keep the mic. Somebody is talking. Okay. And this y-axis, you are talking about the y-axis. Y-axis can have only the maximum value of 1. The membership value of a particular say young. Suppose we are forming a fuzzy set of young people. So young will be something like this, around 30. So 0 is definitely young. That is a maximum membership value 1. On this y-axis, therefore we have maximum 1, minimum 0. So therefore this can be divided like this. So say if you think about 30 is not very young, but he can have a membership value around say 0.5 or something like that in the young club, but he may be a part of the middle aged club also. So y-axis can only have value up to 1, but x-axis is on your universe of discourse. This is whatever you're considering, either temperature or age or something else, sensible number of children in this case. This is called universe of disclose. In that itself, we form different fuzzy set. Say young, middle-aged, or even older people. So anything above say some 30 may be taken as older people. And even you can have different kinds of, different types of fuzzy formation. So very young very young, then somewhat young, then middle-aged, then old, then very old, or something like that. That was my point while I was talking about overlapping fuzzy sets. If you include more and more classification, your decision will be very smooth and good. That is what is generally suggested. Is it clear? Is it okay?
I got that clear. I understand that if you have the classification, more classification, you will get more accurate values. And my point of question is,
Yes.
how will you suppose if a person is in between 10 and 20, maybe is 11
Okay.
or 12 or anywhere. So
Okay.
how would I exactly get value in the y-axis? That how you are getting this value exactly on the y-axis? That's segregation.
That actually depends on educational qualification may be another one, height may be another one if you're into police or something. So like that, all these will be formed as fuzzy set, and combinations of all these will be finally helping us to make the decision. But anyway, if you ask about the 11 here, just thing is you can directly find out the membership value. If it is 22, you can directly find out. So you will meet with two membership values. This 21, etc., can be a member of both this middle-aged or the young aged category. So these, when you write programs, basically we use the MATLAB techniques very popularly. So in that, it is possible for us to define the slope, etc., of this membership function, and accordingly, just like an XY graph. This is just an XY graph only. You can find out the coordinate values. We actually find out this as a coordinate value. This is the X, comma Y thing, and we know what's the value. Is it clear? Somewhat okay?
Yeah, okay. One more clarification.
Please,
The
please.
how does the you have already mentioned that there are different shapes which can happen. Does it depend on the rule which you have, or does it have any other concern for having the shape? Since here I have a different shape, and sometimes it can be elliptical, sometimes it can be S shape or whatever it may be.
Okay.
So here, based on the rule, is it based on the rules? Does the shape depend, or is there some other criteria?
This looks like an out of syllabus question for me because it's a very tough question. That's why. So when it is very tough, we say like that, right? The thing is that mainly depends on your experience. That may be a better answer. So if you are a recruiter, a very famous recruiter, because of your experience, you know what should be given more weightage. Even if you consider age, qualification, salary demanded by the candidate, etc., if you consider, you have to take a proper decision. That mainly depends on your experience. So based on experience, required criterion, and expectations, we have to decide. Again, two things are there: goals and constraints. Some employers are not worried about salary. We can pay anything, but we should get the good candidate. Then your shape of that fuzzy curve on salary may be different. Some people are not like that. We don't have much money, but we want candidate with the PhD. That kind of an approach is also there for some management. So according to your requirement, your constraints and goals and experience, that actually we think about even the shape and the overlapping and number of fuzzy sets, etc. But see that this is not a crisp kind of a decision making. That is why I have written last in blue. It's not a unique solution. Just like you're driving, you will drive the car, your friend will drive the car, I can also drive the same car, but with slightly different approaches and trajectories in a very particular same situation. But all of you are somewhat good in doing that business. So that is the answer.
Thank you. I think you have solved the problem. Yeah. Unless you have a reasonable number of samples or experience, that's what you say, the experience, right? We cannot have a good solution or an optimized solution. That's why
Good
you say
solution
the
or
unique, not
optimal.
unique.
I like that word. Optimum solution is a dream sometimes, but we can have better solutions.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions on board, or what the moderator says, or people are just enjoying it? We can go forward. What is the situation? Anybody has asked any questions? Either we can type it through the chat board or directly ask also, no problem. Okay, I think we will move forward. Okay. Anyway, with all these in mind, the fuzzy logic architecture generally works like this. So we have input. That means we have candidates with the so and so qualification, so and so age, so and so height, etc., etc. These are all crisp values. But with all these crisp values like age, height, qualification, salary demand, or temperature, whatever it is, depending on that, these are all crisp input values. We form fuzzy set. That part is called fuzzifyer. Fuzzifyer do this thing. How many number of overlapping membership functions? What are the names of these membership functions? Young, very older, or something like that. All these fuzzification part, as professor has just asked, how many number, what shape, etc., will be decided by this fuzzifyer. Then certain rules are there in a selection process. For example, if the qualification is PhD, then you may have a relaxation in the age. Usually in a decision-making process or a control process, we have if-then kind of rules. If the age is this, and if the qualification is this, and the experience is say Z, then the decision will be say P or something like that. So if then, sometimes an or situation is also there. You are searching for a PhD guy. If it is not available, what we will do? Or something else. So different conditions may be there. And now these knowledge, everything depends on our experience. From the experience, we can frame rules. So these rules and these fuzzy set theories are integrated to form the intelligence. That means the decision making, from where we have to choose a guy or how we do a particular task. And finally, we come out with a single fuzzy set, because in a selection process or decision making process, we have a number of fuzzy sets. A fuzzy set of age, a fuzzy set of qualification, a fuzzy set of salary demanded in a selection process. In an electrical control process, the current voltage, the current carrying in a particular machinery, the temperature in an industrial environment. If the temperature is this and the voltage is this, etc., etc., so many fuzzy sets. Everything will be aggregated to a final output fuzzy set, and then a defuzzifier will finally take a decision, and that decision will be crisp. That is very important. Input to the system and output to the system are crisp. Decision shall be final. There is no fussiness in that decision. But the overall processing, arriving at this decision, involves a lot of fuzzy computations, etc. That is the general architecture of a fuzzy logic control or decision-making system. And we look into an example, a simple example. And even don't worry, you need not worry about this fuzzy set theory operations, even without much discussions on that, because it's a short presentation. We move on. There are certain operations with the join. For example, suppose we have two fuzzy set A and B, then A union B, that you can see age, I mean middle age or temperature, small, I mean hot or very hot or something like that. In union, we take maximum among these membership is considered as the union of them. Don't worry about this. We will put examples also. Intersection is minimum among the membership values will be considered. See here, complement is 1 minus the membership value. Complement of a particular, I mean, fuzzy quantities or fuzzy element is 1 minus the membership value, complement of the fuzzy set. All these are some of the operations. And of course, the theories are too much developed and complex also when we go for a very detailed analysis, but we are not into that today. We will now demonstrate the application of this fuzzy set with a simple example. This is a decision-making process. So we can have either a control problem or a decision-making problem. This is a selection of, students or college basketball team formation. How you know how it is going to happen? Selection of basketball players. That is what we are trying to do. Look into this. Our objective is to select the correct candidate or set of candidates. We have 10 candidates to be selected or something like that. The very definite and interesting objectives are height should be greater than or equal to 185 centimeter. Hit should be greater than or equal to 80%. We are trying to, from the history, from his practice sessions, etc. We take all these hit count, etc., tables are available with us. So the selection criterion decided. This may vary from place to place. In India, we may have this height. In some other place, in China, Mongolia, these parameters be different. And the hit again, suppose if you don't have very good players in a particular year, if you go for this 80, etc., sometimes we not be able to select a guy at all. In that case, we will even have compromises. But anyway, as of now, either in BPC or UC college, we are trying to form a team. Height should be greater than or equal to 185. Hit should be greater than or equal to 80%. That is the desirable, criterion. Then these are the candidates. A to H are the players. Their heights are written over there. Their hit is also provided. Then we go for the classical solution. Classical solution means manual, how we do it without using fuzzy nothing. So how we do it? Definitely, we will look into the eligibility of each candidate. A, 167 and 75. He is nowhere within this. But B, if you consider the height is 175 only, but hit is okay, 95% is there. That is pretty good. And D, C is nowhere because he do not satisfy either of these. D again, very good hit, 100% hit. He's a very good player, like in that sense, but height is 183. That is the issue. And if you scan it like that, we can see that E and G are the two candidates who have been, who may satisfy all the, criterion as such, all the criterion as such. Therefore, what happens is our conventional or classic solution may look like this. We can give the selection green flag to two candidates only, E and G, because these two are only satisfying both the conditions. See, 186, 85, 190, 80. So they're just fit into that. What do you think about this selection procedure? Is it genuine? So you are worried about the D, I am very sure, because D is 183, just near to 185. And see, the hit is 100%. Even with the 100% hit, he is not getting selected is the issue here. This happens in many situations. Many of our selection process criterion in taking decisions are very black and white like this, very crisp like this, which may be very harmful to many eligible candidates, and it's not genuine as we look into that. But if a computer is given the duty of selecting people, it may not do any malpractices as such, because it will only look into whether A and B are satisfied, then only it is selected. Otherwise, no. So this is not a good decision making. Therefore, it not look at least genuine. We can at least put the D in waiting list. That also is not been done by our classic solution approach. But if you put into a fuzzy set theory approach like this, then things will be more interesting. For example, look into this. This is a fuzzy set of height. How the height fuzzy set is defined? You start from 165. Anybody below 165 may not be good for the basketball, right? So please leave them. We are sorry for them. 160, above 165, the membership value is getting increased as the department has decided, anything above 185 has a membership value clearly equal to 1. But somebody like 183 may have a membership value not 0, but anything like 0.85 or 0.9. That is good. That is genuine. Similarly, hit, anything above 80 is 100%. He will get the full mark because we are already deciding that 80% hit is okay for us. But what about 79 hit? He may not be completely eliminated with a 0 membership, but rather he will be having a definite membership value. So this is how we form the fuzzy set. And this height and the slope, etc., again depends on our requirement, etc., etc. Now we are trying to look into that. Our classic solution is like that. Only E and G are selected. See, only E and G. All others have got section of 0, red card only, no yellow, green card. But here, see how we are exactly doing this. We will write the fuzzy membership value of each of the candidate in the fuzzy set called toll. For example, 167. What is the height of that person? 165 is this, 167 is somewhere 0.1 only, say 0.1 only. Anybody above 185 will be 1. For example, say 186, membership value is 1, 187, membership value is 1, like that. What about 179? 175 is this, 180 is this, 179 may be something in between, around 175 is around 0.50. The membership value, the membership value is about 0.50. Like that, we will enlist the membership value of each candidate in the fuzzy set called toll people. Also, we will enter the membership values of all these candidates in a fuzzy set called hit rate. This fuzzy set is called hit, whether he's good or not. Any hit above 80 is good. What about 75? 0.75 is the 75 means see 0.75. 80 means 80 or above 100. So hit rate 100 C1, 85 is also 1, 80 is also 1. Like that, we will write the membership value of all the candidates in this column. Now the final selection process is we will consider toll one quality and hit as another quantity. Therefore, we go for tall and good people only. We cannot choose a guy only because he is tall or only because his hit is good. A and B. If this set is A and this set is B, A and B is our condition. And operation in fuzzy set means you take the first fuzzy set height, you take the second fuzzy set membership value hit as a pair like this, and write the minimum among these two membership values. That is what is done here. If you consider A, membership values are 0.1 and 0.75. So 0.1 should be written, and means minimum should be taken. Then only we will be guaranteeing that both conditions are met to a good extent. 0.51, 0.5 is written. Like that, 0.775, 0.7 is written. Here 0.9 and 1 are the membership values. So 0.9 is taken. Here both are 1, 1, so 1 is written. Like that, here also 1, 1, 1 is written. Now what you can see is the final selection matrix will have values 0.1, 0.5, 0.7, 0.9, 1, 0.75, 1, 0.75, etc. You can clearly see that we can, if you take a decision, finally, if anything above 0.9 could be taken or at least put into a list, then you will see that D will also be getting a chance. 0.9, 1, 1. So it is not completely discouraged. He is not completely discouraged. This is how we take fuzzy set. You can include more number of fuzzy set, more number of conditions, and not only and kind of a selection criterion, or kind of a selection is also possible in some cases. We will put to another example also. So this is how a fuzzy set theory, formation of the fuzzy set, and all these are helping us in a selection process. So these part are called a fuzzification, and the final end is called a defuzzification. After this tick mark is there, okay, you can pick them. There is no problem. So this is how a decision making is done. So I think, instead of going for a one-way kind of discussion, give a pause for 2-3 minutes. If somebody would like to ask a question, then move on to the next.
Yeah, I am having a question. Can I ask you right now?
Oh yes, of course, please.
Yeah. In the last, the 20th slide, the tall and good, the criteria has been given, and we have already mapped results also. And my point is, what is the cutoff? Which is it decided by us, or is it based on some criteria which you do? Since we have here, we are given the cutoff as 0.9. Is it mandatory that we give something like, if you want more people, you can reduce it or not? That's what my question is.
Of course, that is your requirement, your constraint. Suppose you have tight competition, you can raise the bar. If you have loose competition, but you just want to form a team, at least for the sake of a team, then you can go to 0.7, no problem. That again depends on our requirement.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks very much. Here, the tall and good values, we'll take only the smallest value, right? Not the greatest.
Then in an AND condition, then only we can accommodate. For example, suppose you take the largest here, 0.5 and 1. If you take this as 1, you are doing injustice, because he's not at all tall. It's a 0.5, right? But if you take the 0.5 as the value, it will clearly include the goodness also, because we are taking them among them means the other guy should other parameter is automatically inside that, right?
Yeah, I got the point.
That is and operation is the minimum among this. But OR operation, if it is an OR operation, it is maximum, because OR means either A or B is okay for you.
Yeah, that's fine. What are the different other operations apart from AND and OR? Do you have anything else apart from the OR?
So many are there. They are actually called fuzzy set theory itself is very vast. You have alpha cut, a strong alpha cut, complementing OR, and then so many fuzzy operations are there. Adding union, intersection, like you discuss in classical set theory, you have so many operations, right? With the sets.
Okay.
All such operations. That theory is very vast. And if you incorporate such things, etc., then excellent solutions will definitely come out.
But this is in one way, like based on certain rules, but it doesn't have any intelligence of its own, like learning from that, or if you have a certain scenario, and if you come across a certain scenario, it's not modified based on that. But it's
example of a control mechanism. I'll be showing a speed control mechanism. Another example in that, that is the, suppose nowadays it is the driverless car and autonomous car era. So we can definitely put these rules and decision making comes out like that. In that case, intelligence is also involved. I will put an example. We will have an example. This is not very intelligent as such. This simple example. It is somewhat like a table formation, and then go for decision making, right?
Yeah. Okay. Fine. And in the meanwhile, I just do me a favor also. Can you just suggest some documents or articles or books so that I can get familiar with the fuzzy set theory and all in the end of the session? That will be better.
Yes. My plan is to attack you from every side. I will have this horrible presentation. Then I will share all these slides with all the participants, including you. We will share some of the study materials also, which I have prepared, plus suggest the textbooks as well. You are not going to escape with this. We will do that, definitely.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
We'll be done. Okay. So any other questions from any of the participants? All of them are in a fussy mode, I think. What is happening? Any questions? Moderator, everybody is silent. Either they are sleeping over fussy or they are enjoying. I don't know. Can we then proceed?
I think you can proceed. Yeah, I think you can.
Okay. Selection of restaurant. This is another example. I don't spend too much of time because our Zoom timing is limited. This is one. I will be little hurry with this, but another different way. These are all decision making. I will show a control example also. This is another decision making. Don't uh, get hesitated if I mean slightly faster because time limitations. This is an example of selecting a restaurant. When you want to cut your class and go to a restaurant, that usually happens. Okay, in future it may not happen because you cannot do that. Parser only is available. But anyway, this was designed for the good time. Suppose you are planning and you want to go to a restaurant. Which are the parameters? One thing, it should be near and cheap. Near and cheap. If it is very near to your college and cheap, then it is fine. Otherwise, if it is far, you will go with your bike and car, no problem. Condition is that food should be good and it should be cheap. So this is an or example or problem in a sense. Either you can have a restaurant which is near and cheap, or you can have a restaurant a little away from the, your position, but it should be cheap and food should be good. We will travel for good food, any distance we will travel. Okay, that is our condition. And this table give you the details. Restaurants A to H. This was the restaurant criterion problem. And the distance is given in one column, 0.4, 0.31, maybe in kilometer or into 10 kilometer or something like that. Price is given. Quality is also assessed because so many websites are there to assess hotels and shops, etc. So that the customer review, etc. are available online, so that we can see whether the hotel is good or bad or something like that. So from all such information, it is written. That's a graph also shown. Distance from your place and price as a matrix. So for example, A, 0.4, that means very near. 1 or 1.5, etc. are little far. 2.5 is very far. So something like that. Now what we do is we form fuzzy set like cheap, near, and far. See, the distance fuzzy set distance contains near and far. Cheap, the price can have only one, cheap or not. Then quality can be very good. Good. If the membership value is like this, 10x good. So what we are now doing is we now will try to find out the details like this. Restaurant A is taken, distance is 0.4. 0.4 is very near. That is why its nearness function is 1. But for H 2.5 it is 0 because it's too far away. 2.5 etc. is very far away. Says 2.5. See, it is far. It belongs to far. That is why the membership in near thing is 0. Cheap is also written 0.6 or 0.00. B may be very costly. Let us do that. B, okay. B price is very high. That's why 50. So in the cheap function, its value is 0 only because it is very highly priced. 50. That is probably the most expensive hotel around you. So that is how we do this. Now near and cheap, that is our one criterion. We are either satisfied with near and cheap. If it is far, then also we will accept it. Far should be far, and if it is far, it should be very good and cheap. That is our requirement. Okay. Now near and cheap, union and is equal to minimum, just like in the previous case. If you consider the membership values near and cheap, 1 and 0.6 means 0.6 only will be taken. Like that, you add all these and form less. So you can see that if you opt for a collective fuzziness value greater than say 0.6 as a good hotel, you can either go to A or C or D kind of a decision can be taken. Now we proceed with the next category of classification. Near and cheap and its minimum. Near and cheap, or if far, cheap and good. That is our consideration. And the main or function, it is maximum. But here also cheap and good is an AND function. Cheap is this, good is this. So if you go for the combination of far, you do not consider very nearby, I mean, hotels. Whoever is having the far value very high. See, for example, this is not far at all. It is very near. So that that is not required. Even if you do that, the cheap is 0.6 and the good is 0.57, etc. So the combination of that second condition will be 0.57. Then the OR condition is maximum 0.57 or 0.6 is 0.6. That is how it is written. You consider a hotel with have little far away from you. Say this 0.25. This is far. What about its goodness and this 0.88 cheap and I mean it is, I'm sorry, confused. Okay, cheap. This is hotel. So accordingly, we will consider all the parameters, and the OR case, I haven't written a column with the second confusion. Far and cheap. It can be far, but it should be, if it is far, cheap and good is the consideration. Cheap and good. You have to AND them. AND them means you are them. Then we go for OR. Either near and cheap or cheap and good will be OR. In our OR case, you will take the maximum among them. For example, 0.75, 0.25 and 0.85, if you AND them, that is 0.25 only. But 0.25, 0.75, it is 0.75, the final OR, because we will either satisfy with the first set of condition or second set of condition. Like that, this kind of a selection is possible. So I will share the slide and look into the table in detail, because I was telling that we will be little hurried. This is a similar problem like the previous one. Only that AND and OR is involved. Now, a rule-based system is generally used for control applications. This is a decision-making application. Next one is a control application. Control application means fuzzy rules will into picture. If fuzzy, if something is this, then something else is this. If voltage is high and temperature is low, then this is like this. Then control action is like this. So this is the way in which the if and then rules will be formed. They are called antecedents and consequence. If this is A, then the other thing is B, or something like that. Types of fuzzy operation is where variable A is linguistic type. So every variable is called a linguistic variable. For example, speed is a linguistic variable, age is a linguistic variable, and so many linguistic variables are there, and all these operations are also possible. So now we see these are another operations. T norm means the triangular norms. Norms defines like X is A and Z is B. So this is the membership A union B. Fuzzy set X comma Z. X may be one variable, A may be something else. So how we go for the union or function, etc., etc. So many operations are possible. Don't worry about this at this point. We will look into an example to study this. And there are certain steps. First step is implication. This is a speed control problem. Speed control problem where we are driving a car and we are observing another car coming opposite to us, and how we apply the brake. That is the issue. So speed and brake are the two linguistics variables involved. So the implication is like this. Low, medium, and high. This is how we are classifying the speed. Speed is the entire universe of disclose. Up to 100 we are considering. So don't drive more than that. Anyway, so low means this is the fuzzy set. Up to say 10 is clearly slow. Clearly it is low speed. Then it comes like this, and 30. And medium means 10 to say 80, it is written as medium. See, the slope of this medium is not equal in both sides. That way also you can frame it. Then high means 50 above is treated generally high speed, and if it is clearly greater than 80, then it is definitely high speed. That is one thing. Then brake is how much percentage of brake we are applying. Low brake means no brake is applied. So then 10%, 20%, 30%, 50% brake is low. Then this is defined as the medium brake. See, the function is formed like that. Then high. I mean, anything above 90 will be clearly high. 100% means the largest brake is applied. Now, implication of this. That's next step is called an implication. An implication comes like this. Suppose our current speed is 60. Current speed is the 60. Then whether it is high speed or a medium speed. High speed with this membership value, if you take it is some membership value will be there, and it is medium with 0.66. So we consider the largest membership value and then go to the interconnect to the brake fuzzy set. Brake fuzz, two approaches are there, Larsen and Mamdani. These are two people who are talking about this control system. In this case, what we do is current speed is the parameter. Depending on the current speed, we have to apply the brake to stop the vehicle when coming opposite to us. So the condition is the speed is low, brake is low. If the speed is medium, brake is medium. And if the speed is high, brake should also be high. That is a general conclusion, but exactly how much should be estimated. That's why the current speed is 60. We look into speed membership function, and if you consider high speed, the membership is around 0.3 or something only, but in the medium it has a classical membership value 0.66. Therefore that largest will be considered. We draw a straight line like this to the other condition. We are planning to apply brake. So this is the medium, where it hits the medium will be taken. It is equally hitting all the low and high, etc. But mainly this is medium here, because the medium has 0.66 membership value. So we deal with the medium. We redraw the membership function like this. That is one way. Yet another way is, with this 0.6 we draw a straight line and remove everything above that. Only keep the area below that 0.6 like this. Now we come to the next step called aggregation. So we have three possibilities for the current speed: low, medium, high. And we are connecting all of them to the second fuzzy set called the amount of brake should be applied: low, medium, very high brake. These are the conditions. And that part of adding them together, collecting them together, is called aggregation. And for that, we take our current speed, 60 km/h. Back, what should be the brake I should apply? So you draw a straight line from this 60 like this, get all the membership values. For low, the membership value is 0, which is not at all a low speed. That is why the membership value is 0. Therefore, the brake applied, you cannot have any brake in the low medium. That brake won't help you. But in the medium, it is 0.6. So this can help. The medium brake will be somewhere around this region. Somewhere around this region will help you. So keep that as such. Then high. High means from here only it works. Above that, it won't work straightly. So high. So what I'm trying to tell is, we arrive at a new fuzzy set with this particular shape. This is the shape. That red marked is the boundary of that fuzzy set. So if you take a point somewhere in this fuzzy set and apply that brake, if you are choosing somewhere here, this much brake should be applied. If you choose somewhere here, this gray area is the solution area. Anywhere in that area, the solution can lie. So a natural selection will be called, this is called fussification. We arrived at a fuzzy set. And now the next step is defussification. We can make use of MATLAB computation for all this. Defussification, one clear-cut approach is center of area. You consider this as an entire area. You somehow mathematically locate center of that area and draw a straight line and see what is the percentage of the area that we can apply. That is one solution. So many defussifications are there. Center of area, first maximum. If you meet with the first maximum, then apply the break. Second maximum or last minimum or something like that. How many defussification approaches are there? So what should be the amount of break I should apply? One way of computing is called most common is called center of mass. You treat this as the mass. Center of mass method. Center of mass method is you may multiply all the values with its membership value. 0 into 0. 10 if your speed is 10. If your amount of break is applied to be 10, membership value, this is say 0.2. This is 0.2. That is why 10 into 0.2. Please treat that this is 10 into 0.2. 20 into 0.4. 20 is the 0.4. See. 40 into 0.66. So this is maximum for 0.66. 60 also into 60 into 0.66. This is one mathematical way. And this is 0 plus 0.2 plus all the membership values are added. We are considering 0, 10, 20, 30, 90, etc. and 100 and multiplying with membership values like this and dividing with this. And finally, if you aggregate, you get this is somewhere here. 54.48% of break should be applied. That is a final conclusion. So how we go for this defussification is therefore very important. Let me just comment on that like this. If you have the final fuzzy set, something like this, so the solutions is somewhere in the entire area. So in the entire area itself, some solution is maximum, the possible maximum. This point is taken as the solution point. Then defussify. Defussify means the corresponding. If it is 54%, apply that break. That is the final defussification. If some other method is, if your area looks somewhat like this, then you treat this as the entire mass and find out the center of the mass and take that fuzzy value, convert that into defussify and then do like this. So depending on the fuzzy set, last fuzzy set, we will take a decision some in the gray area, somewhere inside that gray area, and that part of taking a final point is called the defussification. So finally, when speed is 60, break must be 54.48%. That is what this particular defussification approach is suggesting us. So this is how we generally design problems using all the fuzzy formations, not just a table kind of a decision making. Decision making may happen like this, but control actions, if it is an automatic vehicle, this logic will be programmed because the driverless car using. So the driverless car will immediately compute all these and finally find out the percentage of brake and it will be automatically applied. Sometimes, rarely, decisions making can fail also. That is why we go for trial test. We take different defussification methods, center of mass, center of the area, first maximum, average of two maximas or something like that. We trial all of them and see which is the best solution. That is why we are saying that we have a component of adaptability in fuzzy control or fuzzy decision making. If you are designing an automatic driverless car system, etc., you can see that all these principles could be redefined and applied over and over. So possibilities of improvement is always there. It is a rule-based system basically. You should have a knowledge. If you're a car designer, you should have knowledge on the car dynamics, the road conditions, the sudden and unexpected things can happen. A dog can cross, a cat can come in front of your vehicle. at all these points of time, you have to take certain decisions. If it's a driverless car, the car has to take the decision. So we have to form so many conditions as fuzzy sets and then take the decisions. So fussification is done. Interference means interference is this, how we aggregate, interconnect, etc. Then defussification, and finally the control is applied. This is how the fuzzy system generally works. It's a very oversimplified explanation without going into too much of the mathematics. And these are some of my suggestions on our references. If you just want to have a basic level of thinking only, you don't want to carry very heavy books and too much get bored on this textbook will help you the basic level. If you are a middle level guy, usually most of you are here only. Timothy J. Rose is a good textbook. Every theory is explained in a beautiful manner. You can even go for MATLAB coding there. And if you like too much of mathematics and would like to sleep over mathematics, then Zimmermann is a good choice. With 2-3 pages, you will be immediately going to a sleeping mode, but good theories are explained there. So these are the references. So thanks a lot for listening to this with the 2-3 breaks in between. So this is my general simple introduction to fuzzy logic without much of the mathematics involved. With this, I think I will open the floor for some kind of discussions. So I request, participants to ask questions now. If required, we will go to some of the slides and further explain it. This is the basics of fuzzy logic. This is the first lecture only. Now you can see how much danger the second, third, and other lectures will be when you mix more of mathematics into this. But you can very simply code it in MATLAB or a convenient platform, because in MATLAB there is a separate fuzzy logic toolbox available. We are all working on that for problem solving. The formation of fuzzy set, everything, we got too much of assistance there. And you can pick and place the membership function. You can try to change the slope of the membership function to get a better optimized solution. So many flexibilities are there. Okay, thank you very much. Now it is open for discussion.
Can you just show me the slide so that I can just note down the
which slide? This one of reference or what, sir?
The book details for the books.
This will be shared. Okay. This is the slide. Okay, the slide also I can share if you want to discuss it in your class or somewhere else. You can use the PPT also. Any questions are coming up?
Just one question. As you have mentioned, the different methods for defussification. I think there are a lot many methods which you use. Is there a chance that in one scenario a defussification technique is good, and in some other scenario, maybe a scenario which you have not come across, and when you come across that, it can get a lower value or not optimized way? Is there a chance of getting that?
It is there, because in the decision making, and especially driverless and automatic vehicle systems, every time there is a possibility of a mistake. That is why it is generally called, the solution is not unique. If you are making a car, you may adopt one approach. If somebody else is designing it, the approaches may be slightly different. In the Indian context, the car design should have some other parameters, including the cow and cat. But in some other place, there is no such situation. It is a different environment. So it depends. And the problem, the advantage of the system is it is adaptable. We can fine tune. That is why car manufacturers sometimes announce it is a car made for India. It is a car made for the UK or something like that. So adaptability is there. There is no unique solution. Just like we are all driving, we are all good drivers basically. You cannot have a comparison on who is a good driver. All of you are doing it pretty good, but at times we will commit mistakes also. That can happen, isn't it? Therefore, when you have a mistake or something, what you do basically is definitely we will learn from there. So we may not commit the same mistake again. So that kind of a flexibility and adaptability is possible in the fuzzy systems also. And not it's not standalone technique nowadays. Fuzzy along with neural networks, fuzzy along with the deep learning approaches, etc., are the hybrid intelligence systems are the more popular practices nowadays. I don't know whether our BSc students are learning neural networks or deep learning or even learning, etc. The neural network fuzzy, like pure fuzzy systems, they are called. Then many other things like all these are inspired from biological or human side, genetic algorithm, something like swarm intelligence, the way in which the ants are traveling, they are optimized guys. With optimum distance, the distance coverage, everything is optimized in essence. So we generally get inspiration from biological, I mean, biological domain like this, and this actually constitute the automated or intelligent systems. Intelligent system generally tries to replace the human being in a general sense. So adaptability, one point, no unique solution, second point, possibilities of improvement. Adaptability means possibilities of improvement, and if the selection process looks wrong over a period of time, then you have to change the slope or something like that. You change that criteria. That's it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any other questions? Jeevan Varghese is raising his hand. Anything to be asked? Jeevan, please. So the fuzzy logic has become, I think it produced some crisp ideas. Not everything became fuzzy after listening to this. Any questions? Either people can turn on their mic and start talking just to participate in this, or I think you can type in. What's the situation? It looks like an online coffee break.
Is there any questions? Sir, I think all are in fussy mood.
Maybe it's around 12 o'clock also. But anyway, we have pretty good number of participants till now.
We have 100 participants in the starting session, sir.
Yeah. We started with the century. Now it is more than half century anyway. Around 70.
Benjamin sir got disconnected. He cannot rejoin because the number of participants already 100.
100.
He is in the first session, but he cannot rejoin again.
I think he has listened to this previously also, just because to show me, when encourage me, he joined, I think.
Next time we can join him. Is there any questions?
Some general ideas we have conveyed. If something special is there, you can ask. Or you can even email it, your questions, if you are doing something with that. You can reach me like this, no problem.
Yes.
Then I think we can wind up with the general assumption that people got something fuzzy in their head and they will further investigate. If anybody is trying to do some project, etc., definitely I'm here at Model Engineering College. We can keep in touch, no problem. We will be able to do that. Both BPC and UC are not too far away from me, I think.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Jean Miss, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, please.
Jean
Yeah,
Miss,
I
can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay, Miss. Now we can wind up the program. Please, our resource person, a vote of thanks.
Yeah. A good afternoon to one and all. There is a saying, an ignited mind is the most powerful weapon on earth, and this is achieved through education. And I hope we are all ignited today and have some fuzzy in our head. Let me come to my responsibility. Respected resource person of the day, Mr. Dr. M.V. Rajesh, Associate Professor, Model Engineering College, Srikakara, our beloved HODs, professors, and my dear students. I, on behalf of BPC College Piravam and Union Christian College Alva, extend my sincere thanks to our distinguished speaker, Dr. M.V. Rajesh, who spared his time to make such an excellent presentation during his busy schedule and for making this webinar a very meaningful and interesting one. I'd like to thank the management and principal of both the institution for their motivation and support to conduct this online session during this lockdown period. I express my gratitude to Mr. Akhil TV, HOD, Department of Electronics and Computer Maintenance, UC College Alva, for taking the initiative for hosting this event and for providing technical guidance and support required. Also, I thank Dr. Manju Abraham, HOD, Department of Electronics, BPC College Piravam, for her valuable guidance and moral support. I especially thank Mr. Rijo Thomas, coordinator of this event, for his efforts in conducting this session well. I'm happy to express my sincere thanks to all the staff members who have actively participated and made this event a success. I also appreciate our wonderful students for making use of this opportunity well. Thank you for your cooperation and for spending your time for a beneficial cause. Once again, thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
Okay, sir. We can meet again.
Bye-bye. Thank you both.
Thank you,
DVT
Rajesh,
and,
sir.
BPC College. Thank you, Akhil, Lijo. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for
Bye.
the time and thank you for the session.
Thank you. It was a good experience anyway.